Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Oh, Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully my camera won't fall off the windscreen this time in the middle of trying to record this introduction. So videos have been a bit slow coming out recently. I've had to do a lot of travel with the day job. I've been in Poland and Spain as well as traveling around Ireland. So it's kind of delayed some of the projects a bit, but good news is the travel is now hopefully over for a while and things are starting to settle down, so there is going to be more time to get videos out there. And I've got about 4 different videos almost ready to go at the moment. So we got a video coming shortly on the Dexter. I just need to do a small bit more work. I've got a video on the Range Rover, which I'm driving at the moment. I've also got some different videos then. I'm doing reviews on I'm going to bring you one on the Ford Ranger. I've been driving one of those the last couple of weeks. I'm going to do a review, believe it or not, on a hybrid on this channel. And I'm a diesel person. I really do not like hybrids, but I had to drive one while I was traveling, so I'm going to bring you a little video on that, show you what I think of it. Let's get out of this junction. And of course we're going to bring you another video on the cat. The leaves are finally starting to fall off the trees here. We're going into autumn, so there's a hope that I'll be able to find the buckets for that wherever they are hidden in the undergrowth. And there's been a lot of people out there asking to see it working, and I'm as eager as you guys to see it work, so we'll get the quick hitch plumbed up. But we have something completely new today. There's a number of things I've kind of always wanted to own during my life. One of them was a Range Rover, and I'm finally sitting in it. I got to fulfill that earlier this year. And one of my other ambitions has just come true. I was out yesterday, I didn't film it, but I left here with a big trailer and some cash in my pocket, and I've got us something brand new. So here goes. I'm going to take it in and show you. I'm going to take you in there now and show it to you. I just want to give it a great big hug. This is a moment that's been in the making for a very long time. I've always wanted a Detroit diesel. It's the first time that I've actually been in the presence of one. If you're watching from the States or from Australia, you're probably thinking completely daft. But the thing is, these things are really, really rare in Europe and even rarer here in Ireland. So they only found a couple of applications here. They were used in the Heston Field Queen forage harvester. And again, there was few enough of those about and very few survived. It was the later ones with the conventional 4-stroke diesels were popular here. It was used in the GAC KD double-decker buses, which were built here in Ireland in the early 1980s. They continued in service up pretty much to around 2000 before they were all taken out. And they obviously found some applications in things like fire pumps, which is where this particular engine came from, and they were also used in the odd generator. But I travelled on those GAC KDs years and years back when I was young, but never realised what engine was actually in them. I didn't know about Detroit diesels back then, so this is literally the first time that I've been up close and personal with a Detroit. So I've never, well, as I say, I travel in those buses, but I didn't know what they were back then, so I'm looking forward to hearing this one run. So I'm going to pick you up, take you for the tour. So the observant amongst you will have already noticed that this is a 92 series. It is a 6V 92T. The T part of it is sitting over here on the ground. As you can see, that is a pretty substantial turbocharger. This thing was removed. Some spare rocker covers came with it there as well. This engine was on a fire pump in a plant, so it was there to power the sprinkler system and hose reels and things in an emergency. So it had pretty low hours. I believe, well, I've been told that it was possibly about 300 hours on this engine from new, but it had a little bit of an incident. I'll take you around the other side and show you. And it was taken out of service. So it was running and the engine wiring loom caught fire. So that went crispy, and after that the engine was taken out and the pump was replaced. So it was also running, I believe, for some time. That it may have run unattended for a day or two. So whether it still runs or not is anybody's guess. All I've done with it is turn it over. I've confirmed that it's not locked up. So got a bit of work to do, obviously, before I can fire it up. Unfortunately, because it was installed inside in a building and it would have been connected onto an exhaust system that was part of that structure, the manifolds were removed and the turbo was removed, just to make the engine easier to get out. And the manifolds, unfortunately, did not come with the engine. So I have no exhaust manifolds. So that's why the turbo is sitting over there on the ground on its own. Also, because it was on a fire pump, it's got... it was set up for a heat exchanger, so I'm going to have to figure something out in the cooling system. But I'm going to take you through it in detail. So I haven't checked the serial number on this yet. I believe there's some kind of a coding system in Detroit where you can tell how many valves per cylinder and things it has. I haven't done that yet. So I need to check that out. There is a little plate down on here, which was from the fire pump manufacturer. So this was fitted to a Clark pump. So it you can see there the engine is provided for an operating range of from 425 brake horsepower at 1700 RPM. Now I always believed that the power output in these 6V92s was somewhere in the region of about 335, but need to do some more research. It says here tested at 540 horsepower, so I need to have a proper look at these spec plates and try and figure out exactly what's going on. And that horsepower is rated at 2350 RPM. So just see actually if it says anything here about the number of valves, which it doesn't. Yeah, so yeah, gonna have to do a bit more research into that. I have this enormous flywheel with the coupling for the pump that was in the back of it. Got a hose here that's covered over. I would think that that is probably the oil return from the turbocharger, and I would say that this here is the oil feed. It kind of lines up with it. This is the bracket that the turbo would bolt to, so it's just a short connection then into the mouth here of the supercharger. So this is the big supercharger. This is a supercharged and turbocharged engine. So if you're not familiar with Detroit diesels, this is a two-stroke. So pretty rare. The only other two-stroke engines I can think of, well, two-stroke diesels on this side of the world would have been the Commer TS3, and Foden also produced a number of two-strokes in their trucks back in the 50s and 60s. So moving along, this must have been the fuel connection. Filter there up into another filter. I would say that this is probably diesel return. I just threw it down there yesterday and some diesel poured out of it, and that smells of diesel. And there's a filter, there's a filter. Manifolds, studs and things are good. So hopefully when I manage to get some manifolds I should be able to bolt them up. This I would assume was part of the fuel system. Came thrown up there. Over on this side, you got, obviously because it was on a fire pump, everything seems to have been operated off solenoids. I'm going to have to figure out, as I say, I'm not familiar with Detroit's. I would have thought that this would have been the emergency flapping them, but I'm probably wrong. It might just be, it may actually be the for controlling the fuel racks either side. Might pop a rock recover in a minute and have a look. And down at this side of the engine, we had down here what I believe might have been a some kind of a coolant heater. You can see there's a melted electrical connection on it there. So that looks like it had a mains power connection to it. Ooh. Let's follow that cable, see where that goes. Ah, yeah. I think in here is some other kind of heater. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out. So go back to this side again. Starter luckily survived the fire. So I mean, it should be pretty easy to get this thing to turn over. We have these things down here, not sure exactly what they do. So I think one of them may operate the starter. I'm gonna have to have a look at that, figure it out. There's your connection for your starter motor. Battery cables didn't come with this thing, but that's no problem. We can make up some of those. And I will say that that alternator is toast. I haven't tried it to see will it rotate, but I'd imagine that that is completely burnt to a crisp. So what I'm going to do is strip out anything that isn't absolutely necessary. So I'll remove that heater, that one that's in the other side. I think we can leave in situ. This, I would imagine, is connected into the cooling system and would have gone down onto that heater unit down there originally before that was burnt out. So we will have to cap that. And I have rotated it. Now there's a funny, as you can see, it hasn't got a pulley on there, but we got a socket in the end of that and the engine does rotate. So yeah, a little bit of work to do, but I've been in contact with a couple of people, including one YouTuber who recently fired up a couple of these, Lord Muck. Great channel actually. If you're not subscribed, go over there and have a look. And he suggested, along with a lot of other people, that I can try and fire this thing up without fitting the turbo. That if I just obviously deal with that oil feed that's there, and I can leave the turbo off her and try and fire without the manifolds. Now the other option I might have is I might just, for the sake of it, put the turbo up on top and just connect that oil feed to it and connect the drain, just let the oil run through it. But which leads me to another thing, the sump is empty. Not concerned about that. Let's see where the dipstick is in this thing. Yeah, bone dry. So that would have been the contractor that replaced this engine. Would have drained all the oil out of it. Just to prevent any spills. Would have been, client would have expected that, just to prevent any risk of contamination. So there she is. So potentially very, very good engine with very low hours, or potentially a complete dud. Could have been damaged in that time that it was running unattended. Really don't know. The engine had stopped, I believe, by the time somebody discovered what had happened, and that fire had burnt itself out. But it looks like it was installed at some time though. That's another thing that's a little bit concerning when you see patches welded into the cooling system. You just have to wonder how much corrosion's in that system. So I might pull this pipe off as well and take a look, try and get a view up into the water pump before I do anything. See what that's looking like. But I mean, we don't need much in the way of cooling anyway in the beginning. I also need to figure out where these are originally connected. I believe that there probably was a big heat exchanger set up here. I'm probably going around the corner, but again, that would have been removed just to make the engine small enough to get out of the room to install in. A lot of these fire pumps end up inside in rooms. They're put in there during construction, then permanent louvers and things are fitted. So rather than have to dismantle that, I would imagine that they broke the engine down a bit and just brought it out with a hand truck straight out the door. So yeah, have to I literally just brought it down here Saturday and picked it off the trailer and put it in here, so gonna have to dig into it a little further. So at this point you're probably asking what I'm going to do with the next fire pump 6092T. The answer at the moment is I have absolutely no idea in the world. I've just always wanted to own one. I've always wanted to have one that I can just come in and fire up and listen to, if nothing else. Now I'd like to be able to build it into something after a while, but I'm going to, for starters, I'm just going to concentrate on getting this thing running. We might try running it first without the manifolds and then try and follow them up. And obviously I'm not going to bother hooking up anything in the way of a cooling system until such time as I know if the engine's any good. Now I might get an IBC of water in here and put a couple of hoses onto it. If this pump is good enough to circulate it, we might just run a bit of water through it just for the sake of it. But I'm not going to go over the top. We're only going to run the thing in sharp bursts until we know that the engine is actually operational. So I'm going to leave it there for now. Thanks for watching. Apologies for delaying getting videos out. Just to give you kind of update on where we are, I think I've located a bucket for the cat, and that friend of mine, Owen, is looking into getting me the valve that's missing at the moment for the quick hitch. So I'm hoping that we can get a bucket on that machine and get it digging within the next week or so. If I can get the parts during the week, I'll try and tackle it next weekend. The Dext is just at the other side of the wall here. I'll be back on that hopefully later this week. Been doing a lot of travelling, but travelling's over for the moment. The Range Rover's parked outside. This video coming on that has been through its roadworthiness test. So I'm going to give you a rundown on what had to be done to prepare for that. So there's front suspension work, there's some brake work and welding, plus a little bit of cleaning up underneath it. When that's done, we're going to tackle some of the cosmetics on that, interior and exterior. We'll be getting to work on this, and we're going to try and prioritise this in the cat now. Get you some good content soon. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the little bell symbol, hit the notifications. Make sure you leave a comment below. I always like to see people come in, just let me know where they're watching from, let me know how they are if it's one of the regulars, and give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. So that's it. Have a good evening. Catch you soon.